More on the Biden economy, the state of the military, and how would America do in a head-to-head battle with China? With us now, Republican California Congressman Mike Garcia. Congressman, congratulations to you, sir, on your victory.
Trace.
Very well done.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
I want to just kind of go with the political spin because I just love it and pick up where Kevin left off in the Karine Jean-Pierre. She said the following about gas prices and how good things are. Gas prices are now at their lowest since early March, with the national average at $3.36. That's 11 cents cheaper than last week and $1.35 cheaper per gallon since June. And it's saving American families with two cars about $140 per month. What they leave out is when the president took office, gas was at $2.66. So $1.37 more a gallon you're paying now than when he took office. That $145 they talk about, you're losing that. You're still losing that in this economy.
Yeah, and in their mind, everything's relative to whatever time period's most convenient for them. Look, the economics is just physics with dollar signs, right? For every input, there's an output. For every action, there's a reaction. And when you spend 2 years under Pelosi, Schumer, and Biden injecting about $10 trillion into this economy in the form of cash and liquidity, when you incentivize people to stay home rather than work and produce goods, and then when you've got a Fed that effectively buries its head and says that this early inflation period was transitory and it'll go away, you end up with the mess that we currently have. And it's important to remember when we see inflation indices, they are actually year over year. So when you do that for 2-3 years like we're going on now, 8.5% compounds over 3 years, and it ends up looking and feeling like 30%. And most of the things we consume as Americans is actually higher than that.
It's interesting because, you know, you go back and you talk about Putin and so forth. They're blaming turkey prices now on Putin and the Putin
everything's Putin's fault.
Price hike. I want to move on. You're a military expert. These two questions kind of go hand in hand. If China does go after Taiwan and take it by force, America doesn't respond. And the question would be, how well do we respond? You talk to General Jack Keane. He says we have war gamed this again and again, and things don't turn out well.
Yeah, no, it's not necessarily a good ending, and it depends on the leadership, obviously, your readiness levels, and unfortunately, we're at relatively all-time low readiness levels in terms of what our warfighters are capable of doing. Retention and recruiting is the lowest it's been since the mid-'70s. Well, it's not just low pay, right? Most patriots will still serve if you pay them $21,000 a year like we do, which is significantly lower than what they deserve. It's not the operational tempo alone. They'll go on deployments 3 or 4 times in a 5-year period and not complain about it. They'll still want to serve the country. But when you have leadership that turns the back on the troops, when you see debacles come out of Afghanistan, such as we saw last year, when we have invertebrates in the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Secretary of Defense Austin, and in this case, the Commander-in-Chief, it's not inspiring to now join the military. When you overlay things like the mandatory vaccines, when you overlay the pay being increased by only 4% when we're in an 8.5% inflationary period, people don't want to join the military, and those who are in the military tend to get out earlier than they planned.
You look at the 2022 goals of the Army, down 25% recruiting goals.
Staggering misses.
So what you're saying is it's not the money. They're not really after the money. They're after the pride, and they don't feel it.
That's right. They need all of it. They frankly deserve more pay as well. I've been pushing to have the military base pay for enlisted, especially the junior enlisted. They make literally $21,000 a year, Trace. People don't realize that equates to about $12 an hour if you normalize it for a 40-hour work week. In and out employees make $20 an hour, to put things in perspective. So I've been pushing to get the no lower than minimum wage for our junior enlisted up to $32,000. There's a couple other things we can do to enhance quality of life. But if our leadership's not there, if they're not making the correct decisions, if they're not investing in our troops, investing in our readiness levels, it's a very dire picture in terms of recruitment moving forward.
Which is the last question is, maybe you can solve the money thing, but how do you solve the pride? How do you solve the somebody looking out for you?
We need our politicians to start behaving like they care about our national defense. So we need them to invest in our military. And we need the leaders in the Pentagon, from the Secretary of Defense down to the branch service secretaries, to stop being politicians and to become, once again, war fighters. The whole point of the military is to deter a war, and if unable to deter, to win the war. All this political stuff and the woke agenda is completely breaking him.
Congressman Mike Garcia, congratulations again, sir.
Appreciate
Great race.
Thank you.
Thank you.